Hey y'all, so I filmed this silly little video for TikTok and it ended up being 10 minutes, which was how long video essays used to be before we decided to make them 8 hours for some reason. So I figured, hey, why not put it on YouTube? So instead of letting it die on the attention span killing app, you can put it on the background while you do chores, while you play a little mobile app game, while you eat. I don't know, just it's here on YouTube now. I had to film it on the TikTok app where it could only be 10 minutes. So maybe in the future I'll make like a better version of it. Like this is a fast, no nuance take, but I hope you enjoy. Let's talk about real person fiction. Welcome back to another episode of Fandom Terminology. Let's talk about RPF, real person fiction. And before you get in the comments, I see you. Real person fiction is not the same thing as real person slash or real person shipping. I personally think the slash part is kind of important. RPS, we'll get to that later, but right now I just want to unpack real person fiction. Let me be real, honest, and vulnerable with y'all for a second. When I was a teenager, I was really into RPF. Like with YouTubers specifically. And like I liked the fantasy of like meeting someone at VidCon and like falling in love, and that just was like a fun thing. And yeah, I did engage in real person slash. And I was really embarrassed of it as soon as I grew out of it. I was like, oh, God, that's so cringe. Anyone who does any kind of real person fiction, real person slash shipping, anything like that, disgusting, gross, terrible, you should be publicly shamed. And I held that opinion for like longer than I probably should have. And it wasn't until like fairly recently that I started questioning it. One of my favorite podcasts, Fansplaining, it's currently on hiatus, but you should check it out anyway. There's like a lot of really interesting episodes about RPF, and that's like where I started questioning how fandom feels about RPF. A lot of people make the argument that real person fiction is bad because like it's different than playing with fictional characters. Fictional characters don't have feelings, they can never see the work you're creating for them. Real people can see what you are creating. There is like the intention, the old fandom rule that there is a strong fourth wall between like the people that you're engaging with and the actual fandom. That like everyone always intends it to be separate, but that fourth wall has degraded, and as the internet has become more internety, like it's kind of impossible. Like a lot of like content machines on YouTube and like parts of press tours are like having actors Google themselves, having actors read thirst tweets. Like actors are forced to look at the weird things you say about them online. And it's weird, right? Like you can't separate them anymore. So like some people really do genuinely think the solution is no RPF ever. But like I'm a human being who exists in the world. Not all RPF is bad. Like I remember being a teenager in high school and listening to my friends that were really into like band fandoms, and they would be really excited about going to a concert, and they'd be like, what if like I got invited backstage and the band members fell in love with me? That's obviously like that's a piece of RPF. That is a fiction that you are telling yourself about a real person. I was doing the same thing. And like what's the difference between like fantasizing it out loud to like a group of friends and like writing it down for a group of friends online? My really hot take is that real person fiction is often, but not always, pretty similar to like fan fiction about fictional characters, because there is a difference between like the real actual person and the persona they have on stage. There is a difference between Trixie Mattel and Brian. There is a difference between Chapel Roan and Kaylee, I think it's her name. There is a difference between like the persona that a celebrity puts on for the public, the thing that is their branding, the drag that they put on, and like the real person. And more often than not, people want to play with the real person. They like the branding, they like the story of it. In like wrestling, we call this kayfabe. There is the difference between who John Cena is in the ring and who John Cena is out of the ring. I really appreciate that about wrestling, and sort of like the tacit acknowledgement that it's all fake, but we're choosing to believe it's real is very honest. And I think a lot of people aren't aware of that when they're engaging with other forms of celebrity. Like the songs that like pop stars sing are kayfabe. Like when One Direction was like, "You don't know you're beautiful," they're not saying literal you. It's a royal you. It is like these songs are specifically crafted, written in second person, intentionally vague, so that you can have a fantasy, so you can create a fiction about these real people, about them being in love with you. You know, like that is the fantasy that they're selling you. But like they're not really honest and forthcoming about like that's what they're doing because it would make them less money probably. Celebrities existing requires some level of real person fiction, not inherently written down, but like sort of existing in our popular culture, a fiction that we carry with ourselves, the fiction that they could possibly care about us, that like we have a connection to them. That's a fiction. It's a comforting and it's a fun fiction, but it's fiction nonetheless. Like I think I got sold to One Direction fics are harmless because they're usually written by teenage girls and they're fun. In that way that all celebrities use RPF to some extent to like maintain celebrity because that's what celebrity is. A lot of really media savvy celebrities also use RPS, real person slash, to further garner their fan base because like there's a huge the reason that I think slash is important, slash as in like queer shipping, is like an important distinction is because like there's a huge difference between like gaylers and like Taylor Swift fans who like her with Travis Kelsey. You know what I mean? Like it's a very different relationship they have to like the idea of Taylor, if that makes sense. Because like Taylor Swift is an incredibly smart woman. She is great at marketing as well as music. I would argue she's a better businesswoman than a musician. This is, oh God, this video is going to be, oh no. She is aware of the Gaylor rumors. If she was uncomfortable with them, she would tell people to stop. And they would. If she truly wanted to give her fans queer representation, the representation they are looking for in her music, she wouldn't just leave subtle little messages. She could either come out, which she's not going to do because she's straight, or she could uplift a queer artist and say, like, this is one that I really enjoy. She has good music. You guys should listen to her, and she'll be featured on several of my albums. That's how you do it, like, in a good way. But, like, what she is doing is she's just not talking about it at all so that the rumors can continue to spread so that she can continue to have this very dedicated fan base. She is profiting off of real person slash, and you have like real person slash and sort of like the like shippy fanfics that you see and like the weird sexual art. And I personally am not gonna, you know what, I'm not gonna state my opinion on whether or not that's good or bad. That's not for me to say. This is a terminology video. But you have that like shippy fanworks thing, and that is real person slash, that is also real person fiction. But then you have like sort of the conspiracy people. You have the fans that force actors, celebrities to kind of like come out to prove themselves. That is slash without the fiction. You know what I mean? Like there are times that are it's genuinely harmful where people are making conspiracy theories about people being queer, or they think they are owed an explanation of their sexuality, like how like Larry slash shippers like ruined the relationship of Harry Styles and Liam Payne. Fuck both of them, especially Liam. Or you have like the slash shippers who were really weird about Kit Harner and forced him to come out of the closet, a young kid who's like not like at the place where he is sure that he's comfortable about it. Like there's a difference between like actors who are like starting in their career and playing queer roles and like the biggest pop star of the century, you know? Like there's layers and there's hierarchy to it. Like there are fans who like possess a legitimate like social and maybe even physical danger to some celebrities, but then there are also celebrities who can come out and choose not to, celebrities that are genuinely like straight. I think with most RPF fans, whether they're doing shipping or not, are engaging with the persona of the real person. They're engaging with the fiction that the celebrity puts up as part of their marketing, as part of their brand. And they want to use that as their like vehicle for a story. And they don't ever want the actual celebrities to see it. They don't want it to affect the real world. They don't want it to change, and they would like fandom to be separated. Personally, I don't think that's problematic. I think like you have no intention of harm. You're playing with like a persona, a thing that doesn't actually exist in the real world. But then there are times where like RPF goes too far, where the parasocial relationship celebrities cultivate with their fans becomes dangerous. And that's just like the nature of social media. And I don't have an answer on how we fix that. I don't think we can.